Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LocksOTD podcast. This is episode number 10, and we're back with a little special edition. NBA starts tonight, and you know we're locked in. We're locks of the day for a reason. This isn't no just football locks or just hockey locks. We do everything. And NBA starts tonight, so you know we're locking you in for the whole season. We're locking you in with some NBA futures, and then, of course, we're going to touch tonight's game with the Knicks versus Celtics and the Timberwolves versus the Lakers. So let's get into it, fellas.
Yeah, I'll rip my future real quick. Going with the Miami Heat to miss the playoffs at a plus 250. Line was plus 300 a couple days ago. Dropped a little bit. A little weird. Wonder why. Heat going with basically the same team they had last year and almost lost in a playing game. And Butler is a major key to this Heat team's success. And they're still gonna have to deal with teams like Celtics, Knicks, Sixers, Bucks, Pacers, Cavs, and don't sleep on the Hawks and the Magic. And if Butler's always going to be hurt, like he's their guy. So the Heat aren't the Heat without Jimmy Butler. And when he's on the court, this is a crazy stat. When the Heat have Jimmy Butler on the court, the Heat are plus 214 on the point differential. However, Jimmy, when he's not on the court, that number significantly drops to a minus 89 point differential. So goes to show they really need Jimmy Butler in the big time moments. And also, Butler doesn't really play a lot sometimes. He averages 58 games played each year while being on the Heat his last 5 seasons. So he's getting up in age, 35. So I don't really see him playing 60 games. So that's going to hurt them. Their bench is really going to have to step up. Their young guns like Hero and Hawkins Jr. are really going to have to show what they're made of this year. And I don't, I just see them missing it. Plus 250 is, I think that's a lock. Zach, what do you got?
So we're going to keep this one in the Southeast Division. We're going with the Orlando Magic minus 140 to win the Southeast Division. Here's why we love it. We got the Hornets in there. Terrible. Wizards in there. Might be the worst team in the league. Your wild card, the Atlanta Hawks. You don't know what they're going to do. They somehow got the number one pick after getting knocked out in the playing game, which is kind of ridiculous, but crazy odds on that. And then you got the Miami Heat. And as you just talked about, the Heat are going to be a very, very interesting team. Don't know who's going to play, don't know who's going to stay in. But the Magic last year won the Southeast Division. They're pretty much running back the exact same team, but they went out, they re-signed a lot of guys. They're very well coached. They really liked what they put out last year, and they picked up Contavious Caldwell-Pope. People looked at that signing, said 4 years, about 70 million. They said that's crazy. Caldwell-Pope is a 3-and-D guy who's won an NBA championship. As you saw last year in the playoffs with the Magic, what did they lack? Experience. They had the Cavs up by almost 20 points in the second half in that game 7, Eastern Conference first round, and they lose that game. Should have been playing the Celtics in round 2, would have gotten beat, but should have gotten farther than how good that team was. But that Magic team, let me tell you, they're running it all back. You got to watch out for Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. Those two, give it a couple more years, are going to be a top 3 duo in the NBA. Those two kids are just insane. And they are just slowly building and building and building. Give Orlando another couple of years. That team's going to be an NBA Finals contender, just like how the Thunder are. The Thunder were bad for those couple of years, and look where they're at now. That's going to be the Magic in about 2 to 3 years. So Orlando minus 140 to win the division. Pretty good odds, and we'll take it. So we're going to swing that one right back to you, Andrew.
Yes, sir. I love that pick. Magic are complete sleepers this year. Just young, talented roster. But my second future will be Tyce Jones, averaging over 7.2 assists. He's on the Phoenix Suns now. Last year, played with the Wizards, averaged 7.3 assists on the Wizards, who had 15 wins on the season. Like, that's a bad team. And putting up those numbers is very impressive. And he only played 66 games for them too last year. And now he's on the Phoenix Suns. Over 7.2 should be cake work when you're dealing with the guys like Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Jurkic, Booker. I mean, that's just like quick, easy buckets for them. He'll find the open man. He doesn't shoot a lot. He's not a ball hog. He's not there to prove a point. He's there to find the open man. He only averaged 12 points last year, and he had a shooting percentage of 49, which is good, which means he takes smart shots. When he's open, he'll take him. If he's not, he's going to be the facilitator. He's going to be the main guy that's going to push the ball and look for the open man. KD, Booker, doesn't matter. 7.2 assists, Tice Jones, Phoenix Suns. Lock it, -115. Right back to Zach. How you doing?
This one going into a little player award category, and we love it. This man did well for us last year. I think he's going back again. We got Nas Reed, Six Man of the Year award. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The odds on this are very one way, one way. You got Fanatic Sportsbook has this at plus 750. But if you go on to ESPN Bet, they have Nas Reed at a plus 1200. That is a massive, massive difference. And with the three guys who they have in front of him, four technically on ESPN, Malik Monk is number one. He's going to lose touches this year simply because DeMar DeRozan is going to be a big piece on that Kings team, which really, when you think about it, that's going to lose him a lot of shots. It's going to lose him a lot of possession as well. Then on top of that, you're going to have Benedict Mathurin, who's put in there, who is a wild card. That's a big one. You don't know what he's going to do. He explodes for big games, then he has 10-point games. He has 6-point games. Other than that, they got Karis LeVert, who loses a lot of touches because of Darius Garland and also because of Donovan Mitchell. Isaac Okoro, once he comes back healthy, is going to be another guy, if he's still with Cleveland, I believe. If he's still there, another guy as well, going to lose a lot of touches. His biggest competition is going to be his teammate, Dante DiVincenzo. They're both plus 1200, but talked about this. Dante DiVincenzo, massive chance about halfway through the season. He can be starting at point guard. He averages 15. He gets about 4 or 5 assists a game. He's just as good as a floor general as Mike Conley, but right now he's in his prime. He can shoot, and he's got a little chip on his shoulder. He's pissed off he got traded. If you've been watching social media, they played the Knicks in a little preseason game, and he was not a happy camper. And I can tell you, he got reunited with all his teammates just to get shipped off somewhere else. And there's a high chance he's going to be starting. Mike Conley's just, he's a really good player. Mike Conley's been a solid player, but he's also 38, 39 years old. He can only do so much. At this point, if the Wolves start making a good run, which I think they will again, he's going to take over. Who's that going to leave? It's just some guy named Nas Reed. And Nas Reed, who won it last year, high chance to win it again this year. So we love it. Lines are going to vary, whichever sports book you guys got, like I was saying, but ESPN Bet plus 1200. That's crazy odds for us. So that's what we're going with. So Andrew, back to you for tonight.
Yeah, we're going tonight's game. We have the Celtics and the Knicks. 3-star play will be Celtics money line and the under of 222.5 is a plus 150. Last year's Boston Celtics champions they're gonna want to come out hot. It's banner night. They got nothing to lose here. Like they want to show out. They're gonna show why they were the champions last year. That 5.5 spread, don't really trust that. That's why we're going with the money line. I see the Celtics shooting their way out of this game late. Uh, they're crazy at shooting. The 3-ball team. Last year they played the Knicks 6 times, won 5 of those games, and they shot the 3-ball 40%. So they live and die by the 3. Knicks will probably dominate the paint a little bit, slow the game down. They're not a good shooting team. Losing DiVincenzo hurts their 3-ball. He averaged over 3.5 threes per game. Brunson only averaged 2.7. The Knicks, they did add Mikal Bridges. He's a good shooter. He's a good player, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to take down the Celtics team. Last year they were number 1 in defensive rating for a reason. The Knicks were in 6, so that just screams out a low scoring game to me. So Celtics money line under 222.5 plus 150. You can lock that right in. How are you? Send it right back to Zach.
And this is going to be our 2-star of the night. It's going to be a nice little plus here, plus 230. It's going to be Minnesota's money line, and then the over of 217 flat.
Real quick.
We like it. Yep.
It's this right here. It's this.
There it is. We see it. It's on the screen currently. Here's the reason why we like it. With this game being in tomorrow, these prime time games, especially out west, they love to go over. They went over last year at almost a 70% rate. Crazy little advanced stat there. That's an ESPN stat for you that no one knows about, and they find it overs in the primetime West games last year, 70%. You got Minnesota, who was the number 4 scoring team in the NBA. They were good defensively as well, but they scored a lot of points. Lakers as well, top 11 in scoring, just out of the top 10. Their defensive rating, though, not so much. Almost towards 20, 20th, right? Now, they did have some injuries, yes, but they lost a couple key players, and their good players can just continue to get older. LeBron ain't playing no defense. Anthony Davis, you don't know. He might play 10 minutes, go crazy, and then roll an ankle, and then he's done for the game. And guess what? They have no one coming off the bench. These games turn into shootouts. I think the big guy you're going to see go off tomorrow is Anthony Edwards. That guy loves the spotlight, loves a big game, showed it last year in the playoffs. And I mean, hey, Minnesota money line over 217 at a plus 230. That's kind of a steal. That's not bad at all.
Smack
So
team.
that's what we're rocking with. It's a little 2-star. We're going to lock that in.
Mm-hmm.
Some pluses for everybody, as not many locksmiths take pluses because they're a little scared. Speaking of, actually, we just hit a plus 2,200 last night. Mark Andrews 2 touchdowns, did we? Hope some of you cash that one. But anyways, I know you heard all those locks. Like I said, some pluses. That's some good value. You got futures with pluses. We got pluses all over the board, ladies and gents. So make sure you get those bets in. We're back to NBA season. It starts tonight. You guys got anything else?
No, sir. I think we're good.
Only one thing I will say, because we do record these in the morning. This is something that we noticed on our last podcast. As soon as these plays come out and you guys watch this, get them as quick as possible, because line movements are heavy. Because I know last week, and I will address it, we had a play on our podcast for the over in a hockey game at 5.5. And when I did the podcast in the morning, excuse me, it was a minus 150. And when the podcast went live, it went up to almost a minus 185. So as soon as you guys can jump on those lines, get on them as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So that's about it. Lines are going to move in these sports. NFL is different, but basketball, hockey, these lines will move. So you guys just got to get on those picks, jump on those picks as quick as possible.
Absolutely. And make sure you follow us at LocksOTD on every social media, YouTube, obviously, Threads, Instagram, everything. LocksOTD. And that wraps up podcast number 10. So we're back on NBA season, and make sure you tune in for Thursday's NFL picks as well. Peace.